We were in Crotone, South Italy. As there is little tide in the Med, you moor stern to in the marinas. You pick up lines attached to the seabed to tie up the front, and your own lines to attach to the pontoon. Next job, put away the sail into its bag to protect it from UV. We wouldn't be needing it for a few weeks. And then, after not stepping on land for a few days, it was time to go and explore.
Tired?
Yeah.
Tired, a bit disorientated, and a bit apprehensive about the prospect of getting lifted out of the water for maintenance and repair. Luckily, there was a friendly face at the marina office entrance. I am Moana! First stop, to go and say hi to Kendra. They weren't even meant to be here, but engine failure forced their plans to change. Kendra would have to try and drive round to be hauled out for repair, but with no forward propulsion, John and Hugh discussed the idea of them attaching their dinghy engine to their swimming ladder. And then back to our boat, admire some other boats, grab the swimming stuff and off to the beach.
Hey kids, I could go on and on. I could explain every natural phenomenon. The tide, the grass, the ground. That was just now we're just messing around.
The kids were happy to be reunited with the boys from Kendra and Ragdoll, and we were happy to stand in the sea and take some time to reflect. It was really interesting going back to the UK for Easter. We ended up slipping back into extra busy mode with gigs and seeing people and working, and then we went straight back to Malta, prepped the boat, and then we sailed here. We were glad to have the opportunity to slow down again and just enjoy being in the moment.
Changing the filters on our
So that brown one, Eric, used to be white colour, so all the brown is sand and dust and dirt that's got caught in it.
That's all stuff we didn't drink.
This is like changing your Brita water filter, but on a bigger scale. The next day, and more living in the momenting. I got to sit on the beach, read and watch the kids, whilst Hugh was on board teaching. There was some kind of Italian RNLI training going on. They were made to swim in the water with their helmets and gear on, whilst a jet ski did donuts around them.
Electric for my plug.
Ooh, you're going to have some power in here. Power.
Hugh had spent the winter productively in Malta. He had turned Darcy's room from this Harry Potter-esque room to this. The man is a magician. The same floor space, but she would now have a longer bed, storage, and for a girl who loves to read.
Yeah.
And now you've got a desk, a bookshelf, cupboards, a wardrobe, all in the same space. Your daddy is a genius.
It's me.
There is still work to do, but it's getting there. We bought Esperance in 2020 and we pretty much gutted her and rebuilt her to our spec. This is the same space, so a before if you like. We still have a lot of work to do to finish her, but we could be sat in the boatyard in the UK waiting to be finished. Instead, we are here in Italy and working on her as we go.
Secret show.
And carpet. But isn't big enough yet.
It's your old carpet.
That shows you how much extra space you've got now. An unboxing. This is an exciting purchase. We saw it on a boat razzle dazzle. Our friend Paul. What could it be? It is a thing for our 3D printer. So basically we can put the filament for the 3D printer into this box. It's a heated box. It dries out the plastic, because that's the number one problem we've been having with our 3D printing failing, is because the plastic gets moisture in it. So this should hopefully solve our problems. I realised like in my unboxing I didn't show you my unboxing, so I put it back in the box so I can unbox it. That's what people do, don't they? They unbox things.
And here it is in action, drying the purple filament as the printer prints an egg cup. I thought I'd take you with me on a little journey to the supermarket so you can have a look at Crotone. We really like it here. Everyone is so friendly. We really like Italy, but it does have a serious rubbish problem. Maybe it's down to poor waste management, I don't know. It's just such a shame. The Italians themselves seem to take great pride in their appearance. They all dress in lovely clothes, even if they're working, but they're just walking through rubbish. Anyway, here I am at the shops. I didn't take you inside, but here is my walk back.
Check it out, I'm really pleased with this. It's all nice and smooth, and it's going to fold up that way. That's going to be the thing that takes the weight when it's fixed. So that's all going to come off tonight when we move the boat and get stained, then put that together, final assembly, and then we're nearly there, Darcy. Where has she gone? Nearly got a room. Gonna make a mattress, and then that's basically going to be her room for the moment.
Another beach day. We were going to be lifted out of the water tomorrow, but today we would play in it.
So Elio from the yard just popped round to do a quick look at the boat in the water before he lifted us. He's a bit nervous about the weight. So I know that Chris told me I think it was 23 tonnes when they had it, but I have repainted the waterline since then. So yeah, basically I said to Kel, don't let him come on the boat, because if he sees the solid wood worktops and the piano, he might just go, I've not lifted you. Anyway, 23 tonnes is what they told me it was. I'm hoping we're coming under 25. The diesel tanks are virtually empty. The water tanks are 40%. We could empty them more. And then, what's the final thing?
Dinghy's on the front.
Dinghy's on the front, so we could take that off. We could take the dinghy off, and we could shift some weight forward if we need to. Because it's also why there's only 2 points you can lift the boat on. It's not like a lot of boats you can slide the slings up and down. Here we've only got 2 exact points. And when you're on a travel hoist, that's not so much an issue, because the travel hoist can tighten and slacken the 2 slings separately, so we can get like a nice balance. He's going to have a fixed rig slings thing, so the slings can't be adjusted. So it's going to be a bit like the boat's going to come out a little bit like this, and then we moved and popped down.
Why don't we take the library off?
We did say we reckon there's a good 400 kilograms of books. The dinghy's the obvious one, because that's full of all the windsurf gear, so that's probably 200-300 kilograms, and that'd be easy to get off. And then, but also that's bringing the weight at the front, so at the moment I want to leave it. The boom, we could take the boom and the mainsail off. That would make a big difference. That boom's heavy, but that would be like we're there for a couple of hours getting off.
We would find out shortly. We were taking the boat to the boatyard. Elio would try to lift us, and if he couldn't, then we'd need a new plan. We were told to radio the harbour master for permission.
Okay, I didn't quite hear that, but I think you said we are okay and have permission. Is that correct? Over. Okay, thank you. We will proceed. So you just literally didn't even. You just let go of the boat.
So Italian.
So Italian. Oh. I think his first answer, you just pressed the button, you didn't talk. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
You just went. Shorthand. I love it. Brilliant.
Elio and his team were here to meet us and try to figure out if his crane could lift us.
Don't tell them about the piano. We'll find out. If it is, do you know what happens if it's too heavy? We don't get lifted out today and we go sailing.
This was the beast that would do it. And there was Elio. See what I mean about being well dressed? A dazzling white t-shirt and lovely trainers to operate a dirty old crane.
The big problem for me is
The level, I understand.
Only the level. We have to. Now we try.
We try, thank you.
The only possibility near Crotone with there is a travel of my friend at 20 miles from here.
Okay.
The only travel
Only one in the area. I see.
You know, my friend there is also 100 ton. It's also better to work with travel with this kind of boat.
I see, understand.
So they're still worried about the weight of our boat. So it'll either happen or it won't happen. 2 options.
Yep, words of wisdom from me there.
So it's looking good. Elio just got me to go down and open up the engine room and expand the prop shaft while it was in the slings, which means the load's not on the prop shaft. So we're off. We're going, Cal.
Elio was worried that the weight might be too heavy at the back for the slings, so he took his time, but eventually he was happy and we were off.
Forget how big she is. The kids are keeping themselves occupied. What are you collecting? Old bits of steel?
Yeah.
Iron?
We feel so tiny now. See how big it is.
Did you say?
We feel tiny.
Feel tiny.
Compared to the boat.
You realise how big Esperance is when most of it's out the water?
Yeah.
She's absolutely huge, isn't she?
Yeah.
Such a big boat, you always forget.
This really is a sight to behold, a majestic piece of driving and teamwork. The space he had in mind looked tight. This was precision parking at its finest. Look at that, an absolute masterclass. And our home for the next week at least.
I suddenly realised we were in quite a dangerous place. The boat could just go.
If it went thunk, I'd run that way because then, because of that catamaran, it would all kind of fall.
I would hide behind I'd get behind that, where Mum is.
We could see now why she was so sluggish for these last few months. One of the reasons we came to Crotone was on the recommendation of Chris and Daria from Ragdoll. They were here working on their new-to-them catamaran, and Chris was straight over to see us. Chris and Daria have always been so generous with their time. Chris is a naval architect and one of Hugh's go-to for advice on anything that breaks. Here is Hugh getting advice from Chris on a repair that was needed from the time that Hugh thought we could go through a small gap, but we hit a rock. Daria has a plethora of knowledge in all of the legal aspects of cruising, as well as weather and anything else you want to know, so they're really great people to have around. With the straps removed and the crane gone, Hugh secured our staircase and we could climb back on board. I had forgotten that I'd left the 3D printer running when the boat was being lifted, but it carried on printing the entire lift with no trouble at all.
Printed while being lifted by a crane.
After such a long day, we weren't really up for cooking, so we went out for pizza with Ragdoll and Kendra. Kids table. Grown-ups table.
I always try and do everything myself. A little bit stubborn pride, and also mainly just because it's fun. I like problem solving, and on this boat I've tried to do virtually everything. However, this is now probably the 4th time the boat will have been out the water and anti-fouled in our ownership, and finally I've done the sensible thing and took the decision and gone, that's a hell of a job, I'm going to pay someone else to do it. We're not making beggar bucks, but for the first time like ever, Kelly and I are earning like enough money to go, oh, we could do this, which is pretty exciting. So yeah, we had a bit of a revelation. It's just like, like we got a quote for doing this, and we're like, well, we could just sit in the office down there, earn that money, and I can focus on the other jobs I want to do, like the fit out stuff, which is fun, and playing with the kids and everything else. And we can pay somebody to scrub and scrape and sand above their heads, which just kills your back and your neck and your body, and you know, do all the things that they are actually experts at, with all the right tools, all the right facilities. And we've gone with that, which is like, feels grown up. I'm 40 next year, so I must be growing up. Anyway, quite excited about that, which is good. And also on top of that, Kelly's just had another voiceover job coming for tonight, and I've gone, oh, how can I spend that money? And our top sides are a mess. So we have different layers on the boat. We've got the anti-foul below the waterline, then you've got the top sides above that, and then you've got the deck, which I'm on now, and the like the cabin top area. The cabin top and the deck I did myself. This deck took me, was it 3 weeks back in that heat wave in June, July 2023, was it? No, 22. It was absolute torture. I literally ended up in hospital from the pain I put my back in. Quite literally, I went to hospital. So I feel like I've done my hours on that stuff. And the problem about the top sides is they start at 2.3 meters up, or blocks, so 2.5 meters to 4 meters, if not a bit more, maybe 4.5 meters. So that's a lot of above your head, high up on scaffolding and all this stuff. Ideally, our top sides need a complete repaint. You know, we want to go into the shed, take all the fittings off, the whole boat rubs down, repaint, you know, a 3-4 week job. We don't have the budget for that, because that is thousands and thousands, if not into the tens. I don't think that much, a lot. Anyway, I have just sent Elio a text on the back of Kelly getting another voiceover job tonight, and said, a couple of days, could you guys just do a little bit of a tidy up? And I like that idea a lot. So he's going to come later and have a chat about that. And it may not happen, and we could tidy up a little bit ourselves, but I'm just like, just put Kelly to work doing voiceovers. That's the repair that John and I did under the water nearly a year ago, actually, or 10 months ago. It worked though, stopped the water coming in, but you can see from the scraping it's already coming off. So that's the job. This weekend I'm going to grind that back and re-epoxy. I know it's not done too badly. That's been on 2 years, that. It's hardly come off at all. Don't even know. So much left, it's probably not worth changing. So in Ponza, I accidentally bumped a rock. I'm just showing Tilly how our boat's built. So we have, that's not actually lead down here, but we have a bit where a load of fiberglass came off.
You have to fix that before they paint it.
What's that? You have to fix it before they paint it?
Yeah.
We do have to fix that before they paint it. So this here appears to be a top layer that has been previously repaired, where someone else has bumped it before. And underneath it looks really solid and really well built up. So the idea is to grind back until we've got a nice clean surface, do a bit of an inspection, and then rebuild it basically as the repair was before. That's the plan for today. Well, we'll start layering it up anyway. It'll take a couple of days to get that number of layers in, probably. Quite a lot.
I'm hugging my hook.
There were still jobs that we would be doing ourselves, and so the repair work began. More consultation with Chris.
So this is woven roving, right?
Right.
This is a lightweight woven roving.
Yeah.
It's here and it's here.
So Chris and Daria have been over and given me lots of advice, which is fantastic. So I've just got to get on and do it. Basically, it's just epoxy repairs. That bit there is going to get a bit better, and then around here as well. So first up, finish up the grinding and cleaning, and then start doing other things. Here you can see ground back, and that's the little gap that's causing all the trouble, that little gap between here and that. So we're going to grind that back further and fix it up. But before I start that process, I'm going to go and ask Chris for some advice.
Another repair to another bit of damage that we caused.
So we had a rope, we got wrapped around here, and it gave, this was spinning really fast, round and round and round, and it gave a sudden yank like that. Got caught. All right, as it did, pulled across here. Now if you look up here, and you see that black line just there. And there's actually 2 on the other side as well, but that's the most obvious one. And that's where this bit of fiberglass here just went boom, and cracked. Sorry?
Did it break?
Yeah. And then the water got up inside.
How did you
Gap
fix
there.
it?
I haven't fixed it yet. There's another crack there, you can see.
But how did you think?
What I'm going to do now, I've just sanded all this back. I've sanded all this back. So I'm going to put in a nice line of filler across here,
You sanded
all the way around. Yep. And then I'm going to fiberglass over the whole lot down to about here. You see that line there? And you see the size of that gap?
Yeah.
Just there. That's all the material that we've got to rebuild.
Wow.
Put back on, because that's supposed to be. And the same under here as well. You see that bit missing?
Yeah.
Big chunk
I didn't actually notice that.
on the bottom. See that big chunk missing? That's the bit I've got to rebuild in the next 2 days.
Wow.
Then they can repaint it next week. So I'm mixing up my magic powder and I'm into fixing.
Tilly loved this. It was like a giant crafting session.
This here, that's the red, and then over the top of that red is another layer of fiberglass. So someone else has done exactly the same thing, and they've repaired it, and you actually see it, the shape of the hull. There's a slight line all the way up here, and there's a big repair that's been done. Cool. So, John is joining me today, and Kelly has taken all the children out. So we are doing inside jobs that can be done when the boat's out of the water, which means basically servicing things, mainly the seacocks, which are places where the water comes in or out of the boat. So the toilets bring seawater in, the engine brings water in, takes water back out, sink, water goes out through that. There's a few other holes for various reasons, 2 of the drain holes. Anyway, we're going to have a look at them all, give them a bit of a clean up, take them apart, tidy them up, put them back together with new grease, that sort of stuff. And yeah, and the access down here is easier when the piano's not in the way.
Bit shiny. Ideally, if I had grinding paste, I'd get all that out.
Right.
But you've got a surface around there that's going to seal, and you've got a surface around there that's going to seal. So that doesn't really matter that much.
Cool.
Whilst they did that, the kids and I went to the beach. We couldn't work out why there were a load of people hanging around. And then we found out. No one was able to tell me what was going on, but they all seemed to know as they formed 2 lines, and we joined in too. This was our first encounter with a turtle, and the children were delighted. The Coast Guard escorted him out of the bay, and then he was gone.